this concept and this idea is, it kind of stemmed from this American JiuJitsu documentary that, you know, we at Flow put out. This is the reality of the situation, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong. 95% of the people that are like hating the documentary didn't see it.
American Jiu-Jitsu versus
Bald Eagles,
Brazil, right? Now, like, kind of like your honest assessment, because obviously, like, there's the wish list of what you want, and then what you actually get are two different things. But like, what do you actually think it would take, whether it's being money, athletes, to make something like that happen?
So there's a number of different reasons why I think it's going to be challenging for this to happen. The rule set, number one, because a lot of the guys that are right now, you know, asking for this event won't do the same rules that the guys that they want to fight will do. So they want, you know,
we're right back to square one.
Exactly. So it's man, I'm telling you, it's the rule set, number one. It's the location, number two, because not all Brazilians can get into the United States, and not all Americans can get into Brazil. So that's why these guys proposed that there was an event in Mexico. But it's like, who's going to pay for that? Are you just going to go on the beach and show up and get a video camera? Like, that's like, it's like, that's the thing. Like, sometimes
it's got to be realistic.
Yeah, well, it's like, okay, yeah, you could do that. You could find like a pro wrestling gym and do it. But is that what it deserves? No, man. This thing deserves a real, like, when I see this, I see, like, you know, an American team, and I see a Brazilian team, and I see them coming out with like tracksuits, and I see a flag, and I see the national anthem, and I see them, you know, like, that's how I envision it. But it's not the right time. And I've been talking to a couple different promoters about it, about how to do it. And there are some wheels in motion, but it's going to take a little time. You know, it's not going to be the way that everyone thinks. I think the thing is that this concept and this idea it kind of stemmed from this American Jiu-Jitsu documentary that, you know, we at Flow put out, right? And I think this is the reality of the situation, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong. I'd say 95% of the people that are like hating the documentary didn't see it. They saw a trailer, they saw the name of it, and they saw the social media, but they didn't watch it. Did you guys watch it by chance?
I watched it when it was on YouTube. I watched it.
Yeah. So if you see the ending of the documentary, the same guy that was basically saying like, "F yeah, I'm American Jiu-Jitsu," at the ending of the whole thing, he's like, "We're all just Jiu-Jitsu, man." He's like, "If you want to call it Brazilian, call it Brazilian. If you want to call it American," he's like, "Call it American." Like, he doesn't, like, that's the thing. So I think what happened was that video, and the guy that made it, he's a sweet guy, like, super nice guy, Reed. And the idea is he wanted to create a conversation piece, because, you know, we got the guys at Daisy Fresh, they're saying they're American Jiu-Jitsu, and he's like, "What's that?" Then Keenan comes out with this American Jiu-Jitsu, and he's like, you know. So then we started to ask people, and that's what the thing was about. It was supposed to be a conversation piece. It wasn't a declaration. So what happened was, you get all these Brazilians, you know, some of them, which I'm not, like, you know, I love Brazil. My wife's Brazilian. I have all my friends, a lot of Brazilian friends, but like, some of these guys can't speak English, so they just see American Jiu-Jitsu, the word, and they're like, "Fucking Americans," you know. They're saying Americans. They're literally like,
you're taking our Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah. They're like, oh, they're saying that American Jiu-Jitsu is better, and it's like, no one's saying that. You know what I mean? Like, and in reality, like, the whole documentary is like, let's be honest. Like, when I think of American Jiu-Jitsu, when I think of what American Jiu-Jitsu represents to me, I don't think of any of the guys in the documentary. The guys that I think of are Matt Hughes, Jeff Monson, the no-gi wrestlers that learn leg locks, even Eddie Bravo, yeah. But I don't think of like Keenan's lapel. That's not American Jiu-Jitsu. That's bullshit. That's just a Keenan. That's a Keenan marketing tool that he used the documentary for, right? And Mikey, like, that's not American Jiu-Jitsu. So it's like, anything that Keenan says is just marketing for his gym, right? But when I think of American Jiu-Jitsu, the guys like Mark Lehman. It's those original guys that took the gi off. Chris Brennan, that were like, I don't need the traditional Brazilian uniform, Eddie Bravo, and I'm gonna go wrestle and then do the grappling. That, to me, that's American Jiu-Jitsu. So anyway, so I think what happened was some of these guys on the internet, they got really excited, they got really hot, they got really emotional from this American Jiu-Jitsu documentary. Then that started to build, and on social media they started saying, what, like, they don't even know what it's about. They're like, American Jiu-Jitsu. Then people started saying, yeah, they probably said this, and then it's like, the telephone game, right? Everyone just assumes things, and then all of a sudden, the Galvão incident happens, and then all of a sudden, like, some of the Brazilians are saying, well, that was a slap to Brazil, like they're taking it like personally. So they were like, oh, he represents America, he represents AJJ, and when all that happened, because like the guys who made this like this declaration this week, Isaac Baez and Gaudio, they literally said that. They're like, oh, like Gordon slapped Galvão, and that's, like they reference that. So it's like they're lumping together the American Jiu-Jitsu documentary, the trash talking that American athletes do, because the thing is, in Brazil, they don't have trash talk. Do you understand? So like,
no, it's a different cultural thing. Like,
yeah,
if you're saying stuff about someone's mom, expect the throwdown. Yeah. Versus exactly. Like, I bust on Aaron all the time for. I mean, it's Aaron. Come on.
Yeah. If you say like, if you trash talk in Brazil, like, that's a declaration of war. So when they see all these Americans, they're cocky and they're saying all these rude things, and then all of a sudden they're saying, oh, we're better than Brazilians. And then all of a sudden they see, Gordon, like, loud and in your face and flipping the bird. And then all of a sudden there's a slap. They take that as an offense. So they're like, okay, well, now we want to go to war with America. So that's how they that was their answer. They came with this like declaration. And then when they what happened was these guys made some social media posts. And then a buddy of mine, Sinistro in California, he was like, oh, cool idea. So he made a poster, and he was like,
I saw that.
That was cool.
Yeah, it was. And I was like, oh, right on. They put who's number one. They didn't put anyone else. So I was like, okay, cool. And at first I was like, man, this is an awesome idea. But then when I started to see the comments and how volatile and how emotional and how toxic it got, I was like, you know what? I don't think this is going to work out. I don't think this is a good idea. I think cooler heads just need to prevail. And one of the promoters, the guy that runs BJJ Stars in Brazil, he has an idea to do an event where it's like 5 gi matches, 5 no gi matches. But his intention will be to promote like peace between the cultures. Like, it's not going to be like a declaration of war and like, this is the battleground and this is our first, encounter. It's more going to be like, okay, let's just have a fun dual meet, of America versus Brazil. Because I'll be honest with you, like, the chances of the matches that you saw in that poster happening are like 1 in a million. Like, you're gonna have to find another Sheikh Mohammed that's gonna put out $1 million to make it happen, because it's just gonna cost too much money, not just the athletes, but to convince the athletes to all agree to do a rule set that they don't want to do. It's going to be next to impossible. So, like I said, I think it's a cool idea, but I think the tensions are a little too hot right now for that. I think down the road, because what they used to do, like in Brazil, they used to have like a Rio, Sao Paulo friendship cup. They would have like the team from Rio come to Sao Paulo and fight.
Was it actually called the Friendship Cup?
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. And then they had this event called I don't know. It was Japan against the United States. No, Japan against Brazil. So they brought like 5 Brazilians to Japan, and they did this in the past, but they did it with like respect and honor. I mean, I don't know if Gordon going like this is going to be the way to go right now. I think, but I do think there is a way. I do think that there is a way to do this. It's just it needs timing, really good planning, and good financing to execute. So we'll see.